And before I bring Jen up, I also wanted to mention quickly, I wanted to thank Paulo for talking about electricians and mentioning the fact that registered apprenticeship programs are the other four-year degree, and I need to say that because we have the head of the Ohio State Apprenticeship Council here, Andrew Macheski, and also the chair of OSAC, Steve Lipster. But I think that there's sort of an assumption with many of us in this room that when we talk about higher education, we're also talking about apprenticeship. So I wanted to say that. Thank you. And Jen, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. It's really a pleasure to be here today, and I'm really looking forward to the discussion. So I will keep my remarks brief and maybe give a little bit of an industry perspective, which is what I was asked to do. As Terry said, I have the privilege of heading up human resources for American Electric Power, and we have 22,000 people in our workforce. And I've been kicking around the utility industry for more than 25 years, and I would say that I do think more today than ever there's really going to be a reset in the workforce that we're all trying to figure out exactly when it's going to occur, what it's going to look like. But it's certainly going to include a lot of technology. It's certainly going to include a lot of green jobs. And I see one of my cohorts back there shaking her head. And I really do think a lot of opportunities for women. So I am actually optimistic that the kind of topic that we're here talking about today, jobs for non-traditional jobs for women, we really will get to the point where we won't be talking about it anymore. And one of the biographies that I think I read said that was really the goal of what this is all about, that they're not going to become, there won't be non-traditional jobs. So some of the reasons that I feel optimistic is that I do think industry really understands the value of diversity. We certainly spend a lot of our energy trying to make our workforce more diverse, and especially for women in non-traditional jobs. And it's such that if we hire a female lineman, the linemen are the people that climb the poles. I mean, it's known throughout the HR community at AEP that we've actually done that. We really have a lot of focus on reaching out to women, and there's a variety of ways that we do it. The other one Terry alluded to, while there's a short-term tightness in the workforce and a lack of opportunity, there is a lot of pent-up demand, I think, building up in companies like ours. We have about 25% of our workforce that is eligible to retire today. And this year, only about half the people that we had projected would retire did retire. We're probably going to see that again in 2010 as people wait for the market to recover. But there is certainly a pent-up demand of people wanting to retire, which is going to result in a crunch on us in having to and wanting to hire people. So I see lots of opportunities there. I think we're going to finally start to see the fruit of some of the effort that we've had for many years of going lower and lower grades in grade schools and junior high schools, trying to get girls interested in different kinds of jobs. The utility industry and others have been at it for quite a few years now. I do think we're probably at the point where we're getting more and more recognition about what the different jobs are that are out there. I also think technology is going to help us a lot, and what I mean by that is the online capability to both attain an education. Many of our jobs require 2-year degrees, and those are available online more and more. We also have more alliances with 2-year schools so that it's very clear to people what job it is that they're training for, and they're able to transition from getting a 2-year degree right into a utility or another kind of a workplace. And those haven't been available. We have things like scholarships that are specifically targeted toward females. I think Terry alluded to an organization that we're both a part of called the Center for Energy Workforce Development. And again, I think technology plays a role. On their website, it's called Get Into Energy. They have very specific descriptions of jobs in the utility industry. It talks about how much they pay, what kinds of people might be attracted to them, whether you like to work indoors or outdoors, do you like to work with your hands. It's little videos of people who actually hold the jobs explaining what they're like. So I think more than ever there's an opportunity to understand more the jobs that are out there by simply going online and getting a really good picture of what the job looks like. What we're here to talk about today, I think the green jobs are going to be an attention getter and attraction to people and help to build up the understanding of what jobs are out there. Jobs like renewables and energy efficiency, the smart grid, clean energy generation. As they're talked about more in the press, I really do think that helps to build up the knowledge of what might be available in the workforce and hopefully be another attraction and attention getter to people. And finally, I think what we're doing here today, just bringing people together and talking about it and trying to figure out what is it that we can do in the short term and long term to continue to work on this issue. So again, I'm really looking forward to the discussions, and I appreciate being here with you today. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jen. So I guess all I will add to this discussion, I was going to mention the sort of national best practices, which is to say that there are so many resources out there now. It is, as I share Jen's enthusiasm, that there's a new sense of excitement that there's a wonderful and historic opportunity to gather all of the good work that has happened over the past 30 or so years through organizations like Hard-Hatted Women and Tradeswomen Now and Tomorrow and Wider Opportunities for Women and many, many others, where you can now go online and find an amazing wealth of resources. In your packets, you have a new study from Wider Opportunities for Women on what does it take to get women into green jobs. Hard-Hatted Women has a hot-off-the-press toolkit for the recruitment and retention of women into the trades that will soon be available electronically on our website. Of all places, I found a link to Rhode Island has a wonderful curriculum for pre-apprenticeship training for women that's free. You can write them. They'll send it to you. It's incredibly detailed. And I found that on the website of the show hosted by Mike Rowe on Discovery Channel called Dirty Jobs. It's an amazing website. It's really, really fun. I think he's really funny. And he has a whole page called Toolboxes, and tons of it is dedicated to getting girls into these careers. And you know, when you look at all the efforts around STEM outreach, science, technology, engineering, and math, starting at kindergarten on up, looking at, in pretty much any profession now, you have a women's organization, whether it's women in engineering, women in construction, women in energy. We have tradeswomen now who are retiring and who have years of expertise. So what we see as we sort of survey the landscape is a lot of expertise, a lot of energy, and a renewed commitment to making this happen. It's like all these puzzle pieces are out there, and right now there's this new national will to bring those pieces together and figure out how we can build on these strengths and truly get these careers, as has been mentioned, to be no longer non-traditional for women. I will then be able to travel to Hawaii and kick back, and my life will be complete. Thank you very much. And I think, again, one of the key things is that a big difference is it's now industry-led. I think to one of our founders, Mary Baird, who was a telephone line installer, so similar to a line worker, you know, climbing the poles and stuff. And she was really a pioneer, pushing down boundaries. And today we have companies themselves calling us saying, you know, we're trying, it's not working, what can we do differently? So that is a huge change. And when you have industry behind it, there's a much higher level of political will to make that happen. Our legislators will pay attention, the folks who implement laws and rules will pay attention, and I think we're going to see a big difference. So I'm going to close this part of it just by reading a quote that one of our great staff found, which is, says, diversity is good for business. A recent study found that diverse work teams are more efficient problem solvers. The study quotes a systems analyst who says, it's not about morality or fairness or doing the right thing. It's not even about hiring smart people. Instead, it's about honing a competitive weapon. Diversity is strategy. So on that note, get your thinking caps on. We're turning it over to you now. This is your chance to tell us what you think and to tell the Secretary of Labor what you think. We are going to have table discussions now led by a table recorder / facilitator. Those discussions will last until 9:20. There's 2 questions in front of you on your agendas. We're going to ask that you please first discuss the first set of questions for 20 minutes, about 20 minutes or so, and I'll give some fair warning about when your time is out. And also our panelists, we would invite you to please, if you would join your tables again. And then the second question for about the last 10 minutes. And then we'll pull back together and hear from you all. Any other instructions, Sue? All right. Thank you very much.